Welcome back to another episode of the Figuring It Out Finance podcast. My name is Chris Rickenbaugh, and you are listening to the show where we talk about travel hacking, personal finance, life hacks, and real estate. And today, recording this late on a Friday in real time, we are officially going under contract for flip number 2 of this year. So, super exciting. Before I hop into the details here, I'm going to tell you to follow me on all the socials, Instagram, TikTok, and then now you can follow me on YouTube where all the podcasts are going to be posted, as well as Spotify and Apple. And go check out figuringitoutfinance.com where you can check out my last flip that I did, and then you can be able to check out the progress of this new one as we get going through all the details here throughout the next week. So everything's going to be moving really, really quick, but let's hop into it. Flip number 2 is now officially under contract, and I'm going to break down the entire deal so far, why we looked at it, what took a little bit longer, and all the details here. So, how did I find this flip? So, super easy. Me and my partner were looking for our next project, so whether that's going to be an Airbnb, a flip, we're just looking around. So we weren't finding anything on Zillow or on market. So I checked out Facebook Marketplace. I messaged quite a few different people, and I was able to find a house that was off market, being sold by the seller. So no agents involved, no extra no extra fees on top of that. And This whole week, I went and saw 5 different houses. So the first one was a huge renovation, foundation issues. The second one was buy an owner, where we're still negotiating a little bit and seeing where this next partnership goes. And then the third one was one I saw down in Charlotte. And it needed a little bit of rehab, but not too much. So then I went out and saw this one, and I said, I walked over to the contractor. I said, it's a big project. The basement's going to have to get finished. So we went and scoped it out. It said, all right, it's going to be a big project, and this is the one we ended up going with. And I also walked another one later that day where I really sat down with the seller and negotiated and didn't end up closing. But I think we're going to submit an offer anyway on it, just so it's written. But found this deal on Facebook Marketplace, or found this opportunity on Facebook Marketplace, and throughout the pictures you can see, okay, it needs work. It looks like a general flip. So I said, all right, I'll come check it out. Nothing's going to hurt checking it out. And I knew it was a larger project, so I wanted to have a contractor with me to be able to give me ballpark numbers and just kind of walk me through it. So show up to the house, and it's in pretty good condition. Checked out the foundation. Everything looks pretty solid on it. Then we walked inside, and it's basically like your normal 3-bed, 1-bath, or 3-bed, 2-bath house up on top. And then there's an entire lower level, because it's not a split level. There's not 3 or something in the middle. The only thing that's in the middle is right where you walk in, and then there's steps going up and down. So you can check out my TikTok and Instagram where you can check out the full walkthrough of that house. And that is the one we're actually going to be closing on here, or getting under contract. So it's a 2-level home. The top side, like I said, is a normal 3-2. And then on the bottom, it's pretty much wide open. So the plan is going to be, we're still figuring out the plan for the bottom, whether we want to add 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. We're going to walk it next week and figure it out, and I'll run into the situations a little bit later on in the show. But other than how I found it, Facebook Marketplace, how am I funding it? So we use the same hard money lender that we used for the first project, and they came back with the cash to close. Ironically, it's the same cash to close number that we're going to be able to pull out for my investor with his interest payment. So it's going to be right on the number. So we're going to be able to roll that right into this next project. So pretty simple on that side. But a couple of the hiccups were that the seller wanted $5,000 in earnest money. So earnest money is something when you're buying a house that is non-refundable. So that's saying that I'm serious about buying this and there's no chance of me getting my money back. So if I put it in due diligence, if I didn't end up liking the house, I would have been able to get the money that I put in due diligence back. So normally I would say it's like $1,000 and $1,000 on each side, but this one was full $5,000 earnest money, which I said, all right, we walked up with a contractor. We know what it's going to be. Let's roll with it. So talked to my partner and he's like, all right, it sounds good to roll this into another flip. Then we're going to have to be able to structure that partnership, which is the book that I just finished here on episode 42. I just did a little bit of a breakdown on it. And we're going to be structuring a partnership on equity, cashing out, all of those different things. So read the book and now I get to use it. So that's awesome. So that's how I'm going to be funding it and bringing in a cash offer. But the thing is, instead of 100% renovation costs, so for my first project, I was given 100% renovation costs by the hard money lender due to this not comping out very well in the neighborhood, just because there's not a lot of comparables, but we're still going to be very confident in getting that number through a number of different people that look through it. So they're only able to fund 70% of the renovation. So that's going to be an extra about $30,000 that I'm going to have to find or fund myself. So working on that now. So with this house, it's going to be a straight up flip. So we're estimating it's going to probably be about 10 to 12 weeks, 10 to 12 week project. So hopefully late October or mid-October we'll be done with it and be able to get it on the market before it starts getting really cold here. But being able to get this thing started, and then so all next week we're going to walk it with another partner that's going to end up selling the house for me. She's going to be able to tell me exactly what we need to do with it on the bottom, because the top side is going to be pretty straightforward: windows, paint, little touch-ups here and there, and then renovating 2 bathrooms. But the kitchen is going to be a little bit different because we're going to have to figure out a way to open it up. So that's going to add a little bit of value to the home. It's going to make it real bright on the outside. We're going to have to take all the siding off and put new white siding on, paint the brick white, and then we're going to put black windows on the outside. So it's going to look super nice in there. I'm really excited the way it's going to turn out when we finally get it done. Hopefully it's not more out of pocket, but we're going to be able to kind of see where all that goes. But on the bottom is where we're going to have to really look at. Yeah, so the bottom, as soon as we get down, we're going to have to do, structure the steps a little bit, but it's pretty wide open to where it can be completely framed. So there's about 3 different sections. One's going to be like a small-ish living room area. There's a big section in the front for a good-sized room, going to be able to add a closet. And then I think we're just going to end up only doing one good-sized bathroom down there. Probably more like a big master bedroom. So I think that's going to end up being the plan, and then that'll be accessed from 2 different sides, and then it's going to be able to lead out into the backyard where there's enough space there. If the owner wants to get creative, you could probably add a pool, which will only add more to the house. But if we add enough to it, that space back there is going to be able to definitely hold a pool. Then probably have to build up a little bit, but the opportunity is there for sure. And then on the top side, we'll redo the deck and then add HVAC and then redo the roof. So that's probably going to be the main main things we have to do on it. I'm going to get in there next week and really do the walkthrough on room by room, what needs done on each side. We're going to scope it out to where we know exactly what's going to go in the basement, get that all planned out, get the measurements, start getting things ordered so that we can roll into it on week 1 as soon as we close. So that's pretty much the gist of what we're looking at here. I'm going to be documenting everything on Instagram and TikTok, probably giving every week updates here on the podcast, whether it's Monday or Friday of the week before or the entire week, just so that I'm talking about it and showing what's going on the house. I'm going to, I think, set a standard that I'm only going to visit it once a week. Other than that, I'm going to try to be as hands-off as I can other than the planning in the beginning, because that's the way this business is going to be able to move forward, is by me not being there, just kind of managing from afar, having the GC do a great job, and they did a great job on the first house too, and seeing how that goes, and we're going to be able to get our number. So we bought it at 1.8. We're going to be, the numbers are still up there, but $5,000 earnest money, so that's going to bring down the purchase price from $185 to $180. We're looking at about $120,000 on the renovation, so that brings us up to just right at $300,000. We're estimating the sale price to be between $390 and $400, so $400 just for even numbers. Take out about 10% of the $400, so that would be $360,000. $360,000 minus $300, that's a $60,000 spread, and that allows me to figure out my gap to where I'm able to offer investors. So what I can really do is look at, all right, so here's the gap. Even if I have to sell it for $20,000 lower, that's a $40,000 gap. If I'm looking to make about $20,000 off of this, which is the goal, I can offer about that $15,000 mark to offer interest, since I'm a little bit newer, and so that's what I can play with a little bit. So that's what I'm thinking on this project. Going to have more information as it rolls along next week, but I appreciate you tuning in. Super excited to get this project underway. Thank you again for listening to the podcast, episode number 43. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.